Howdy y'all, my name is Bryce and welcome back to some more Slime Rancher. So it is, what's the date? October the 13th, which, woo, spooky day. But also, we are now 1 year away from when Chrissy and I are, oh gosh, get out of there! From when Chrissy and I are getting married, because we're going to get married on the 13th. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? So it's 1 year from today. Get hype, put it in your calendar. But yeah, so October 13th, we're a little bit into spooky month. Oh, come on, guys, I need you to stop. I need you to stop busting your ceiling, okay? So yeah, October, spooky month, wedding in the future, super exciting. How are y'all? How was your morning? What's going on? I'm having to do little chores over here right now just to kind of, once again, clear things out. You know how it is. We will go and deal with a bunch of the plorts and things. In a second, let's go check on the hens, because it's nighttime now. So I'm assuming that... I am assuming that the... ringtails will be out doing their thing. We're going to also hold on to this odd onion, right? And we're going to go put it in that cave. I need to go check on all the other slimes. Oh, gosh. Like I said before, we may have some chaos to deal with. Honestly, we may be at the point now where we're going to switch all of our Largos. So I actually would love to hear if that's what y'all would like to see. Oh, why are y'all still stoned? Y'all were waiting for me to come out, huh? We're just going to sit up here for a second while we chat for a bit. Oh, my gosh. Just look at that. Oh, you know what? Those two are probably going to end up turning into phosphors as well, because, yeah, they'll go for the plorts. Wow. There are so many. Like, even having these guys here eating the whole time, they're not going to knock through it too much. We're gonna be on ringtail quest for a while here, I think, y'all. Because I don't want to just get rid of them. I don't want to just get rid of the chickens. I want this to be what happens. I want them to be devoured. I'm a monster. I am sorry. But it also is, you know, it's Slime Rancher. This is how it goes. I do wonder, is there any way that we can explain away that the hens aren't being harmed when they're eaten by a slime? Are they sent through some kind of chicken network like the slimes go through the slime sea? Look at these pens. My goodness. Be careful leaving the chickens out of the pens. They'll go wild. They'll go wild. Okay, so we will look for more ringtails while we're out and about. And yeah, I was reading through the comments. Love y'all and all of your love and whatnot. I honestly appreciate so much y'all's support on this series. Those of y'all who are coming on over here new, welcome. It's okay if you're showing up in a late episode, because it's very podcasty. We're just chilling here. We're just talking. No need to worry about what we talked about last time. I'll catch you up on what you need to know. We've been talking about... Are there less in here? We've been talking about psychology-related things over the past few episodes. And now... I was looking through the comments, and so there was one that actually was a very interesting question. I think it would be a good one for us to go over today. One of y'all was saying you're working on a game, you're a game dev, working on some games, and you were curious as to what I think makes a game a good game. And it's an interesting question, and obviously for everybody it's going to be different, but I figured I could, as we're going along, try and think about and look to and talk about some... some games that I like and what I like about them, like what it is that they do well. And we got our odd onions growing. I think they'll still work the same, because when they were next to each other on the ground out in the wild, it was still an odd onion next to carrots. But we can see. I could probably read the entry, to be honest. But oh well, it's more fun this way, right? It's like when you build a whole farm and then you run in there with a nectar and you fire it into it and it bounces off and then you laugh. It's like that. Not like I would know anything about that experience. Oh, we silly. Okay, so then beyond that, obviously we still have Ember Valley search going on. We've got, let's deal with some of these. I need to snare some more Gordos. So hopefully we will get more recipes for that. I imagine we'll get those from from like Bob, probably, is my guess, or one of them. Just because of the type of item that it is. It could be in one of the 2 treasure pods that we have. If there is, I assume that there's a higher level Gordo snare. It could also be just not in the game yet, because the previous one had the Gordo snares. It was like novice. I don't remember what the medium was called. Maybe like advanced and master. Novice, advanced, and master, I think was what it was. Something like that. So anyway, would like to do that. I would like to... We're going to do one. Let's actually make one right now if we can. And we're going to try and get a bunny. Last time I think I tried to get a flutter, which I think is, you know, a much lower likelihood. The thing is, apparently, I was reading about the snare. We can actually look at this in our Slimepedia. Snare, is it in this one? No. Science? No, maybe it was just in the description of the snare now. But basically, it will have a chance of catching any of the slimes associated with the food that you put in it. Anything that can eat that food. Now, pink slimes, I guess, can eat nectar? Maybe? That was the one confusing one, was the nectar. However, that could just be, you know, they can have a random pink slime appear because it's a low quality thing. Hey, that's right, we got all this stuff. Nice, power core upgraded. Cool, we're at max power. We got power. All right, let's make one. Looking around, do you want to mess with any of these? Let's make a jump pad. Why not? Let's make a sprint pad, dash pad. Why not? We can make some fun things with that. And I think these are things that you can like pick up and put down. We're going to make a bunch of these. We're going to mess around with some of these things. Man, we can make like all this stuff. Meat slime bait. What's this? Taming bell. Will calm the anger of any feral slimes. Well, we'll make it, if nothing else, it's a cute little thing we can put on our on our conservatory. Okay. Also, some of y'all were saying like, hey, let's decorate the conservatory, which I fully agree. I fully agree. We should start decorating here. I'd like to kind of look around and get some theming ideas. Like, oh, look, you can put something up on here. So I'll have to take a good look, and you know, we'll do this in the video at some point here. Maybe not today, but in one of the coming videos, where we'll sit down, we'll look at all the things that we can decorate with, and then kind of like set a plan, right? Like I know I want to put magma pools in the cave. What kind of stuff do I want to put in here? Do I want grasses and brushes? Do I want more trees? Do I want... I mean, there's so many things, right, that could potentially go around here. So, yeah. Do-do-do-do. Bop. Boop. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Sorry, I meant to put these away. But we'll put them all away. So yeah, we will set up that Gordo snare here in a second before we head out. We're going to go back into the Ember Valley. Doing what we did last time, you know, slamming our head against the wall, looking for the last couple of treasure pods. But depending on how, you know, our first little bit goes out there, we may just come back and work on things like decorating and organizing. I do think within the next few episodes, we should completely swap out all of our Largos. Maybe do a full, like, reorganization, redesign of the ranch. Or of the conservatory, rather. I'm always going to call it the ranch, all right? I'm always going to call it... I'm setting my foot down. We're calling it the ranch, because I'm always going to say it. So I'm thinking, yeah, like, why not... We've had these guys all for a long time. We love them. We love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. You know, it would give us an excuse to look at some new slimes, to kind of vary things up, switch out the kinds of foods that we have, you know, give us a whole new set. I think that that's always a fun thing to do in Slime Rancher as well, because you can't really lose progress, I feel like. The worst thing that can happen is you can have stuff in your inventory and you can fall and lose it that way. Like fall into the sea, you know? But beyond that, like, you could have absolutely everything lost to tars, right? Like I could have tars pop up in here, and it could be chaos, Tarmageddon all over again. And once the dust settles, or once the tar clears, I don't know how you would say that, it'll just be an empty slate. But nothing will be destroyed. Like, your crops will grow again, you know? All you gotta go do is pick up some slimes again. And so, I think we're gonna do that. So let me know down below what combos you might like to see. Which ones do you think I would like? Because I know a lot of y'all been playing. You're like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite one. But then also, by what means should we say goodbye to these slimes? I could take each one individually and launch them into the slime sea. We could let a tar loose and see what happens. We could throw them into an incinerator if we're monsters. But first, let's see what these people have to say. Victor, what's up, man? Beatrix, I need a data point from you. I'm running an experiment on the psychological impact of gift reception. Please tell me which of the following feelings you experience. Gratitude, joy, or perhaps hunger. Please do not consume this gift. Hey, another teleporter. Oh. Okay, I need to start putting down these teleporters now that I'm getting them. Did we make the first one, the pink one? No. So I need to make the pink and the blue teleporter. So if y'all are new to Slime Rancher, then just so you know, the way that the teleporters work is the regular teleporters, the ones that I just unlocked, they are two-way. So I'll put one down one place, and then I'll put one down another place, and then they've created a pathway. So what's nice is that it's two-way. I can go through and I can come back. So I don't have to worry about like, oh, you know, these teleporters over here, they'll take me there, but they won't get me back, right? I had to put down other teleporters to do that, the home portals, right? This way, the other portals, like, it's a one step, and to me, it just makes it so much easier for me to think through where am I going and where am I coming back from. So, excited about that. Let's put them all in the science machine. I don't need money right now. So yeah, we should make those teleporters. I probably need to get a bunch of jellystone, is my guess. You know, we do a lot of the same things every day, but that's because, you know, life on the slime ranch, it's like, you know, you get up, you got to do the chores on the farm, you know? It's just how it goes. Sometimes it's the same every day, but you make of it what you will. So, I mean, I guess that kind of gets us into the topic of today of like, what is good game design? What is it that's fun about games? What works and what doesn't, right? So here I am doing the same thing that I've done a bunch in this game, bringing ports down and everything and putting them in here, doing all the running around grabbing stuff and taking care of things, which is not a problem. It's not a problem for me. I enjoy it. But I do know that some people talk about hitting that wall in Slime Rancher where it's like you're doing a lot of repetitive stuff. And that's where, for me, I take that as like, oh, it's time to get creative, right? Let's start decorating. Let's start putting stuff down. That's my world of Slime Rancher. But let's feed these guys. They don't look happy. But, you know, one thing to figure out when you're making a game is when there's going to be repetitive stuff, how are you going to make that fun? And if you can't, then don't put it in, right? Like, this is fun. Why? They're cute. Half the reason I'm playing this game is because these things are adorable, right? The sound effects are so satisfying. Oops, didn't need to do that. And like the little happy accidents that can occur are wonderful. So it's like all the little things that happen in between doing all this stuff is what makes it good, right? Because you could have this style of gameplay. You know, this is essentially what I'm watering plants, I'm feeding animals, I'm doing farming stuff. There's hundreds of farming games. Real quick before I start going into it. And so, you know, some of them do it well and some of them don't. And so I think that that's one of those things where it's about really refining it and figuring out what is it about your game and your gameplay that, oh, let's go make the thing, that people will enjoy. And what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What kind of a game are you trying to create, right? Because if the game you're trying to create is one that's supposed to be relaxing and fun, then making sure, relaxing, joyous, lighthearted. You know, I would say Slime Rancher is kind of in that boat. Then you don't want to make anything too labor intensive. You don't want to make anything take too much like intense effort or anything that would cause you like some stress, right? Slime Rancher, I would say, is a game with very minimal stress, and that's part of what its appeal is. Versus if you want to make a game that's like a horror game or something like that, then stress is your business, right? You want stress. So it's really important to think about the tone and what you're trying to accomplish. Can we make both? No, I need Jellystone for the pink one, but we got a blue one. Heck yeah. So now what else do I need? Just Jellystone. We'll grab some Jellystone on the way out. Let's put the blue one down up here just so we have it ready to go. So figure out the tone you want. Figure out how you want your players to feel and really focus on that. Take steps back every now and then, because as a developer, you know, recently I started doing some game development in my spare time and been learning a lot. Honestly, for the most part, the thing about it, oh yeah, we do have Gordo snares. The thing that I learned the most about it is, well, A, you got to be consistent on your work. But B, you really need to remind yourself. You need to like go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It says activate. Pick up this gadget. Oh, okay. You can pick these up and move them around. Oh, probably because I haven't activated them yet. That's right. Once they're down and then there's both of them down, I think then it'll lock it in place. I think that's how it works. Okay, sorry, I got really confused. We are going to grab a cabbage and we're going to try and catch ourselves a rabbit. A little bunny Gordo. Okay. Where do you want to put him? We're going to try it. We're going to try it. But Pinky might show back up, and that's fine. Or Pinkowski, or any of the other wonderful names. Gumball was a good one. I love all the names that y'all gave for the... put them here. For the Gordo, for sure. Hilarious. Looking forward to seeing more of those. So yeah, we'll see if we get that guy. We've got another snare, so you know we'll see how that goes. Maybe next time we'll try and get a honey, or we could even try and get like an angler or something, actually. Let's go grab a sea hen. We'll try and get an angler right next to him, because that'd be neat. The angler, let's go see if we're going to put the angler down by the tide pools. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try, right? Plus, I haven't been down there for a bit, so let's go check on our puddle slimes. Let's just get a look at the place, because we might want to move things around. Because again, like I said, we're going to be probably redecorating, reorganizing, and everything. So we might want to, you know, look at things and get an idea of what else is out here that we can still jump into. Okay, so game dev, tone. Tone matters. Make everything reinforce the tone of your game, okay? Like, let's stop. Let's take a second. I'm enjoying talking about this, by the way, right? Just talking about, like, what is it about games that I like? You know, you could argue I've played games professionally for almost a decade, so I should know something about it. Not saying I do, but I should. But, like, let's look at Slime Rancher, okay? Slime Rancher at its core is a game about these adorable little slimes, right? That are in this magical, wonderful world that's like gorgeous and is kind of dreamlike. It makes you feel like you're in a wonderland, right? But it's not horrifying. It's like very calming, soothing, kind. I don't know what you would say, but it's a warm and safe place, kind of, right? There are dangers, but even the dangers feel like fun almost, right? Like, oh, I fell in the lava, or I'm getting attacked by certain slimes, but it's like, I mean, they're cute and I'm not really going to lose anything, right? Important, right? So it's like, it's fine. So I think that like all of that stuff reinforces the tone, but then you have like the storyline that's going along in the background. And what's the storyline that's going on? It's slow. It's somber. It's a little, you know, it's got some drama in there, but it's more reflective. It's not like, oh, hey, I didn't know this could spawn on the island or on the conservatory. That's rad. So it's like that also reinforces this kind of calm, right? Because the story, the exciting stuff, all the intensity, it already happened. In Slime Rancher, we're in a space that allows for a lot of reflection, right? And that's what I've been talking about a lot over the past, couple episodes, is that like a lot of this has been about reflection. I'm reflecting on myself. The characters in this game are reflecting on themselves. But this space, a space like this, that's calm, open, empty of stressors, this is the place where we can reflect, right? We as people can reflect in a place like this. So the setting reinforces the themes, which reinforce the concepts and the content, which reinforces the set, right? It goes in a circle. Everything reinforces itself. That's what you want in a game. You want each component to contribute to furthering the whole. A lot of games, I think, shoot themselves in the foot by trying to be too many things at once, right? I mean, how many times have you heard someone describe a game as like, it's Final Fantasy meets Diablo meets Harvest Moon meets Fortnite meets this meets that, right? It's like some kind of combination of 30 different games to try and make the most perfect version of a game, right? And what you end up getting is kind of a muddy mess where like you struggle to figure out where's the line here? What is it that I'm supposed to be like really paying attention to here, right? So you don't want to do that, I don't think. You don't want to get too complex of a game, too complex of systems when you can really refine the few that work. So another example of a game that came out recently that's completely different than Slime Rancher that I would say is incredibly successful is the game Vampire Survivors. Give me 1 second. Dry throat. Goodness, it's morning. So Vampire Survivors, I think, is a good example of a game like that. Where are our puddles? Hey guys, you're still doing good. Awesome. How you doing? So give me a sec. Give me a sec. And give me a sec. Okay. So Vampire Survivor. The thing about Vampire Survivors that's so great, it is an incredibly simple game. Right? It is people have called it a bullet heaven, I think. An auto shooter is what I would call it. But essentially, it's a kind of top-down pixel art style game. Looks a lot like Castlevania. We get waves of enemies coming at you and you fight them and everything. The game is incredibly simple. Not to undermine like the concepts or like the difficulty of making it. I just mean it's very refined and simple in its concepts in that like the gameplay is straightforward. The characters, straightforward. Everything about it reinforces what it is because guess what? You start that game up, it's ready to go in like 2 seconds. Why? Because you're going to go into a match and you might die in 3 minutes. And then guess what? You're going to be able... Oh, goodness, y'all. My throat today. It's just phlegmy. You're going to go... and you're going to get right back into a fight in 30 seconds, right? Because it's the kind of game that does that. So it reinforces itself, so you're constantly in the feeling you never really want to back away. You don't have those moments of like that jar you and knock you out of it. So again, I would say consistency and really consider the overall tone of the game that you're... Gosh, we walked all the way down there and I didn't do the thing. Consider... the overall tone that you're going for, the themes that you're going for, work on those. And then also look at all the systems you're putting in place. Like, are you having RPG mechanics? Are you having side-scrolling mechanics? Are you having shooter mechanics? Are you having flying mechanics? Like, what kinds of things are in your game? And ask yourself how many of those things are truly necessary to carry out the theme. Because in games, oftentimes less is more, but especially if you're working on your own, making your own game. Where do we want to put this guy? Right at the sea edge. Right at the sea's edge. Actually, no, I kind of like him right in front of the water here. Yeah, we'll do it here. So yeah, you want to make sure that you put it down to be as the simplest version of what you want to make, because as a first-time game dev or like a small indie dev, you are not going to have the time or the capacity to make the game, the full game that you want to, that's like your dream game. It's not going to happen. Your dream game needs a much larger team. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Your dream game is going to need more people on it. It can't just be you. I mean, that's not truly the case. I think that Concerned Ape proved that, Stardew Valley, you can make that dream game on your own. But also, if you go look at Concerned Ape's story, you better be ready to spend 6 to 8 years, I think, developing the first prototype, and then another 6 years refining the final product, something like that. I mean, it was a long journey for Concerned Ape. So that's what you're basically signing up for, is you're signing up for spending a ton of your time trying to make it, and you really got to keep yourself motivated, and you got to figure out how to give yourself that time and space to do it, right? Because it's going to take a lot of your free time. Or work on something much smaller, a simple game that you can carry through a nice fun theme or a nice whatever. Wow, that took the whole day just doing all this stuff. We haven't even been out of here, have we? We're going to put our... Yeah, there's our blue teleporter there. We will... What time is it? I'm just looking at how long have we been doing this. Already 25 minutes, my goodness. We're going to do a Jellystone run on the way to the Ember Valley. We'll do some searching in the Ember Valley. We'll probably end out here. Where will I put the blue portal? Maybe up here, right next to the refinery thing. That could be nice. Because I can teleport in right to there. Or I can put it over here. This is not a bad central location, actually. This spot is actually a good spot for a portal now that I think about it. You're above, so I can get over to here. I can get over to here. If I drop down, I can get into there. Like, this is a great way to be able to get into this part of the map and then go. So that's actually where we're going to put the teleporter. Wow. Wow, I wouldn't have thought of that until just looking at it. All right, Jellystone, and then portal, and then, like, obviously I'm going to only accomplish one of those tasks and really only about 20% of it, but hey, let's go. So, yeah, game dev. Try and make something smaller, try and make something simpler, refine your concepts, and make something that you think you can knock out if you have never made a game before. If you have made games before, then it's like, okay, plan out your time realistically, knowing what your skills are, and you know, realistically, how much do you get stuff done? There's the optimistic price that says I could do anything in any amount of time, and you know, this is all I need. Just give me 24 hours and I can give you gold. And it's like, yeah, I could, if I didn't stop. You know, if I stayed up the entire time, if I burned myself out to the edge of, you know, my sanity. But that's not healthy, and you shouldn't sign up for things like that. That's just not good for you or the project, right? So instead, you know, realistically tell yourself, how much can I do every day? How much can I do every week, right? And build off of that. I guess these are less game dev skills, and these are more just self-organizational life skills. But, like, you know, monitor yourself. Be honest with yourself. You can lie to other people, right, if you need to, about your abilities and your timing and everything like that. If you need to, right, to be like, no, I can do this or I can do that. That's, you know, I get it. Though I would strongly suggest, you know, just being honest about everything. But don't lie to yourself, because that's going to make it harder, right? Like, insecurities and everything, I'm not going to judge you for how you respond to other people in situations like that, right? Like, we all have our insecurities and our weaknesses and the things that we are concerned about, right? But when it comes to yourself, you know, don't lie to yourself. Don't cheat yourself, because that's really all you're doing. Is you're making your life harder for you by sending your own self mixed signals, and more importantly, signing yourself up for stuff you're maybe not able to accomplish. And then what have you done? It's like, great, now here's all this stress I got to put on top of me. So be honest with yourself about your timing. Be like, do I really get 8 hours of work done a day, or do I really only get 4, or do I really only get 2, right? And then, or do I really work better? Like, well, I can spread it across a week, so maybe I don't do 1 hour a day, but I do 3 hours on a Sunday and 2 on a, you know, whatever works for you. Be honest with yourself about how you could do it, because then you're going to do a much better job. So that's just a general life advice, I guess, not so much just game dev advice. But okay, what elements make me love a game? I like, well, for me, in like terms of genre, I love things where I can automate stuff, right? I love being able to make machines do things for machines. But I would call that, I guess, tech progression. If your game has some kind of tech progression of some sort, I really enjoy that. Obviously, not all games can have that, but it's sort of a physical version of like RPG mechanics, growth, right? I like playing games where my characters develop over time, where, you know, especially if it can be like based on my actions, right? I think those are some of the most fun things, because it's like there's evidence of your actions being carried out in the world and having an impact. And like when you play it the different times, you know, multiple times, you could play it slightly differently, right? Maybe there's a different character you can play as. Maybe there's different builds that you can do, right? Whatever kind of game it is, action game, RPG, fighting game, whatever, you could probably squeeze in elements like that somewhere, right? Like, even that weird example that I just gave of fighting game, if you think about the newer, oh no, come on. Oof, that was close. I accidentally clicked like that. The newer Mortal Kombat and DC. What is it called? Oh, it's killing me right now. I know exactly what it is. It's the one where between the two DC universes. Injustice. Gosh. Oh, in my head I was like, it's in something. Let's go ahead and go to the Ember Valley. We're fine. We got a good chunk of Jellystone. We'll get more later. Okay. So progression. I think progression's a lot of fun. It shows you stuff. Oh, and in those games, Injustice and in Mortal Kombat, they have like costumes and stuff that you can unlock. And so you can customize your character and how they look. And they can even kind of give you like slightly different variations on the move sets that you have. They're all still within the space of normalcy, so no one has a greater advantage over someone else. But for people who are like really into those games, they can build the perfect version of the character that they want so they can play at the highest level. So yeah, progression for me is something they really like. Something that, this should be like rule number 1 for all game devs now. Accessibility features, okay? Accessibility features. Make your game available to the most possible people you can. And so what that often means is having a variety of difficulty settings, right? You have, or at least not an intensity, right? Like Slime Rancher doesn't have difficulty settings. It does have, you can turn off tars and things like that, which you could argue are accessibility settings. You can reduce the amount of damage that you take, which you could argue are accessibility settings. But like beyond that, difficulty sliders are not in this game because the base gameplay is not something that difficulty would really have an impact on. Right? It's not like, oh, suddenly we have 400 tars, right? That would just be not fun. So having difficulty curves that allow it so that anyone can play your game, or pretty much anybody, and also figuring out the level of challenge that you want for the high level players. For me, I would always err on the side of the casual gamer or the younger gamer, and I don't mean that by like someone who doesn't play games, but I mean by someone who's not into hardcore pixel perfect shooting or anything like that, right? Like we're at a point now in gaming where there's so many different types of games and so many different types of gamers that we're not really in the space anymore where gaming is just catered to first-person shooter types and like Twitch response people like super fast competitive games. It's not just about Fortnite and Apex and all that now, right? Even though those are huge games, there's also games like Stardew and Minecraft and whatnot that are completely targeted at opposite audiences. And so for me, I prefer the types of games that are marketed not towards the first-person market or that action market or that intense esports market, but instead I like games that are more marketed as like unique. But I mean, everybody wants unique games, right? But for me, I guess it's gorgeous. I like the beauty of a setting and having components that are out of the ordinary. But what I don't like is I don't like a hyper competitive focus on, where you have to like sabotage your friends and all kinds of stuff, right? Like if you watch the main channel, our multiplayer channel, if you, I know that some of y'all aren't even familiar with that, which always blows my mind. But we have the main channel I work on is STUMPTGAMERS, and that's where we play multiplayer games as our main thing. Got an alarm going. It is 10 o'clock. And so if you've watched that, you probably know that I am not a fan of hyper-competitive games like that. I don't like playing games against my friends. I don't like being hyper-competitive. That's a me thing, but I know it's also a lot of people thing. And so think about, I guess, your target audience, which one of those kind of communities they belong to, or whatever community they might belong to, and then make sure to tailor it to them as well. Not like, oh, I got to change the core of my game, or got to change this, but it's like, just no, it's like market research, right? It's like, who is going to be playing my game, and how can I make this a game that they're going to enjoy? Which I think is something that pretty much all game devs would be on board for, right? It's not so much, oh no, I don't get to make my perfect dream game. It's how can I make a game that the most people are going to love and connect with? I feel like that's the ethos to follow. Don't follow so much about, I have to create this amazing, perfect image of a game that's in my head. It can have no errors and no problems. This is something that is, above me. Don't build it up into something that you're not going to be able to accomplish easily, right? Don't build it up. Who is that little guy down there? Oh, it's a rock slime or a crystal. Yeah, just don't build it up into something like that because it's going to be nearly impossible for you to do so, right? When we set up impossible goals, we don't achieve them, right? We just beat ourselves up when we don't. Even though we should have known we wouldn't, of course we wouldn't be able to do that thing. But still, we beat ourselves up because we said we were going to do it, and then we couldn't do it. Boy, oh boy, do I know that feeling. Man, my throat today, gosh. Goodness. Like, it's not my throat, it's just like morning phlegm. You know what it is? The temperature has finally started to drop out here. So the pollen from the tree, every time the temperature shifts in Oregon, like 20 degrees, one way or the other. Are there ringtails out here? Got some ringtail plorts. There you are. Gimme. Not you. You. Whenever that happens, we have a pollen bloom. Like, it just happens. So, boom, suddenly, pollen everywhere. That just, it messes me up. It gets me all phlegmy and everything like that. So, apologies. This is what my voice is going to be like for the next week or so. Or the rest of the year, depending. Oh, look at that one. Oh, the tabby ringtails look real cute. They look real cute. I mean, these look like straight up, like I would call these like Miko slimes. These are raccoons. These are straight up like the truest trash panda. Look at this guy. So cute. And because it looks like it fits, like that one just looks appropriate. All right, anyway, let's put down our portal. I said I would put it over here. Oh, is there only one up here? Oh, no, here we go. Right in front of the cave. Sure, why not? Portal 1. Teleporter. Cool. So now let's double check. Destroys it, and it, yeah, okay. Whoa. Oh, I went through it. I was like, did I destroy it? Cool. All right, we did that. Neat. We've got our portal set out there. That's cool. What time is it right now? I want to make sure I'm not wasting too much time. There's a bunch of things we want to do. Okay, let's get this ringtail out here. And I'd like to look at decorations and things. Let's make... I can make the other pink portal, I think. I probably have enough jellystone. Oh, goodness. And we'll find another location for... oh, gosh. Look at him. It's getting out of control. Like, my thing is I would love to get more... ringtails out here, but because I have the phosphor ones, I could only make phosphor ones. So, because he's going to eat those plorts, right? So I need to get regular ringtails to turn into those, or I need to go grab a whole bunch of My gosh, look at all these. Okay, y'all, it's... Boy, oh boy, we're going to have some things happen. Here's what's going to happen. All right, y'all. No, you, you and you. We're gonna get rid of these guys. I'm gonna get rid of y'all. I'm sorry, but I don't want a bunch of phosphor ringtails because y'all are only efficient for half the day. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna probably go and grab... Oh gosh. You know what? We can actually bring these guys home. That's fine. Well, we're gonna put you over here for now, okay? We'll send you somewhere else. This is a baby ringtail. You can stay. Alright, I'm just looking around for other plorts. Gotta make sure there's no phosphor plorts on the ground, because what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna grab a bunch of ringtail plorts, and we're gonna grab, I don't know, maybe tabbies, and let loose. Just because I know I can grab a bunch. Or maybe even pinks. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever I can get first and get a bunch of. Or bunnies, you know? Ooh, maybe we'll do bunnies. That sounds fun. Little bandit rabbits. Oh, are they like rabbids from, like, Rayman? The Ravaging Rabbids or whatever? Is that what they're from? Are they from Rayman? I forget what they're from originally, because now they're the popular thing. I think they're from Rayman. I may be wrong, though. Boop, boop, and we hold on to this. Okay, so, because I have ringtails, I can have a bunch of ringtail plorts. I can turn something else into ringtails. That's what I was realizing. Okay. Oh, look at this little guy. Hi, bud. How are you doing? You can chill. He likes looking at the pink slimes. which is weird because I could definitely eat them. Okay. We need this to end. Okay. Here we go. Let's go find some bunnies out here. Try and make this happen. Right now it's like the war between Price and the hens. It's like I have a hen infestation, an in-hen station. Is that a henfestation? I don't know. We'll figure that one out. And like I'm having to call the exterminator, and like they can't do anything. All right, there's too many of them. Nothing will take them out. So now I'm introducing invasive species, which is a totally inappropriate thing. No, no. You. And you. Yes, I saw the jellystone. Just want to make sure I grab a ton of base slimes before I get too out of control here. Woo! Gimme. I wonder if this is like the previous Slime Rancher, where as you remove slimes, it injects more. Like, yeah, you hear them doing that, right? Because in the old one, this is how I would get a ton of slimes, is there were spots where like there would be like a coral thing or whatever, right? And so once you vacuumed up enough slimes, they would just keep sending them out until there were enough slimes on the ground. So you could get like infinite pink slimes. Super fast. Okay, you know what? 18's a good amount. I'll grab more as well if we see them, but you know, 18 will work for me. 19. Okay. All right, so good game design. What else does Price think is necessary for good game design? Characters. Characters need depth. They need, well, characters need character. I think it's easy, like, I'll put it this way. When I was younger, because when I was younger, I designed all kinds of games in my head. I got notebooks for days, y'all. I kept them all. They're sitting in a drawer over here. I have so many notes for so many games. Oh my gosh. The ideas that I had when I was younger. But like sometimes when I was younger, I would, come up with these stories and these characters and everything like that, but they all basically ended up being examples of like archetypical or archetypical characters, where, they just, trying to put it this way, like they're shallow, they're simple. Actually, no, I gotta get you out of here. You're dangerous. Bye. It's okay. He'll pop up somewhere else. He won't even know. He'll actually be probably very confused. Be like, I slept here. I went to sleep here, and now I'm here. Wah! Boing, off into the slime sea. They're fine. It's the slime sea. Okay, so now. Just doing this. Oh my god, look how cute they are! Wow. Okay, so I thought that the ringtail part would keep them, or the bunny part would keep them from turning in the middle of the day, but it turns out no. Okay, they're so cute though. Look at this guy. Screenshot before you change. These are some of the cutest that we've seen, y'all. And then he transforms. All right, we're gonna stick out here for a bit. I got rid of all my plorts. I need to transform some more, y'all. They are so stinking cute, though. These are one of my faves. I think that the bunnies have a really good... they combine really well. Oh, gosh darn it. There's too many things in the way. There we go. Here we go. Hey, bud. No, turn towards me. Now he's changing. Yep. Oh, I was like, what are they doing, you know? There's vegetables over there. Sorry, I'm gonna get all these screenshots because these are some of the cutest slimes we've seen, you know? And they're just like stuck over here. Oh, beautiful. You're a beautiful slime. That might be it there. Did you see that smile? Did you see it? Sorry, y'all know me. I gotta take a million screenshots all the time. But yeah, these are some of the cutest ones. I want a plushie of the, of these guys. Of these Largos. Let's get them all together. I can't like put them down flat because there's so many hens on the ground that they get bumped by the hens. Okay. And one little baby. No, come here. Come here. Stop bumping. How ridiculous is this? Incredible. Okay. Now I just want to sit out here and see what happens. Okay, what was I talking about? Game dev related things. I said I had a ton of ideas, right? And that's where I was stopped. Why did I say I had a whole ton of ideas? Was I saying to refine your ideas? Is that what I was saying? Or was I just saying that I've done game dev? I don't know. I don't know. But topic at hand. Ultimately, what you want for your game is to have a unified tone. Oh, characters. That's what we're talking about. The characters that I would come up with were archetypical, right? So just very simple. Like you would, you know, any old anime, you've got like the grizzled guy who's kind of mysterious. And you got the bubbly one who just everybody's so happy around. And it's like it's so easy to have those characters and use those characters that like we go to them without even thinking about it, right? Because they're archetypes. They are examples that like get across a very simple thing because we all understand the language of archetypes, if that makes sense, right? We know that that bubbly character is going to struggle with like the major event that occurs, and the grizzly kind of standoffish person is actually very heroic or whatever. Like there's themes that we all follow. And what's important if you want to have memorable characters is to sort of break those themes, break those norms. I think in this one, you know, you've got several characters who they start out almost archetypical and then they kind of, as you get to know them, they're not, right? Like Ogden's a pretty unique guy. You start to hear about him, and again, remember, it's all about reflection in this game. He's got his regrets about what his company became. So he's got this like sadness and depth, but he's also this big, bright, jovial character. And he's so passionate about what he does, but he thinks he's contributed bad things to the thing that he does, right? So it's like he feels horrible about it. So he's very conflicted, right? He's a complex character, right? Then you have like Bob. Bob is a silly character who you interact with enough to make it like, okay, Bob is an actual character. Bob is in this, and we love Bob. Not just because he's silly, but because like the concept of Bob is neat. And it expands on the lore of this, right? Because we all know slimes are a little nebulous. We don't fully understand them. Don't fully understand their ecology. So like, yeah, maybe they can talk if they work hard enough, you know? Oh man, we're gonna just sit here and watch as they all turn. Can I stand on this little post? I would love to stand just right on this little post right here. There we go. Look at that. That's going to be great. So we're just going to sit here for a second while we watch this. I'm not moving at all. Watch the chickens, y'all. It's like a screensaver. So yeah, making sure that your characters are unique and memorable. The characters that we remember from video games that last with us are unique and memorable. They're either iconic, like Mario or Sonic, right? You have this character design that is like perfect, that just resonates with people. But also, those two characters carry themes, right? So you have iconic characters, but they carry along with them themes. You look at Mario and you know, all right, he's the hero, he's the jumping guy, he's the plumber. He's got all this backstory, even though he's this very simple character, right? So what you need with your characters, you need something unique, something grabbing, something memorable. You don't want cookie cutter characters. You don't want someone where like you could put a different coat of paint on them and they could be another character in another thing and you wouldn't even notice. And part of that comes down to character design. I'm a huge fan of good character design, making sure that what characters look like is very thematically appropriate, that it reinforces their character, right? Their personality and whatnot. And then balance within that. You need good, like exciting character design, something again that's memorable, right? We look at a picture of Bee from this game and She's so memorable, right? She's got like teal hair. She's got like the neat like backpack situation going on that looks like a little bee. She's got like the pants that are like poofy and everything, but she's got the Slimepedia thing on the side. So it's like there's all this stuff where it's like, okay, that character is a unique character. There's lots of stuff going on there. And we learn more about Bee throughout the games, but for the most part, it's just, here's this cool character, right? So Bee is very memorable, even though we never really see Bee's face, right? But Bee is talked about enough. We get enough understanding of Bee as a character through the other characters, right? We have somehow melted the icy heart of Mochi Miles. We have somehow given Ogden some more hope. We have somehow given Thora and Hobson Twilligers a new lease on life, you know. We've become friends with Bob, right? I think he was a little more standoffish in the previous game, and now he's like, oh, hell, chickens, right? Like, he's just giving us stuff. He's not asking for things. Previous game, he was like, give me chickens, right? So not only is there character growth, there's character depth, there's, you know, different ways of telling things. So I guess then, yeah, another thing to go along with that is like when it comes to your story and communicating your story, then, oh, it's starting. Before I turn this back on and we watch the things happen, you need to make sure that your story isn't like told at your audience. It's better if the story is lived, okay? It's experienced, right? There's this old saying in filmmaking, show, don't tell. It also applies to any kind of narrative, but it's basically like, if you don't have to tell me the thing in text, if you don't have to make me read it, but instead it can come about naturally in the story, that's the way that people want to experience the story. Okay, here we go. I see one. Oh, and a two. Oh boy. Oh man, I love that. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at this. Just this horde of them. Oh, Tars? Why Tars? Why Tar? Why Tar? Was there a plort still? There must have been. There must have been one more of the bad ports. I told you. I told you. That's what I had to avoid. All right. They look fine. We're cool. Whoa, man. Once the nighttime hit, they started to glow. They are bright. Look at that contrast. It is a war between the bunnies and the chickens. But I think the bunnies are gonna win. Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna sit here and watch the chaos, y'all. Let's just enjoy this. Wow. Wow. I love it. And there's only gonna be like 10 plorts on the ground in the end. Oh, did you see that? That pop of green, like the fireworks, that was little chickadoos turning into hens. It like popped and then that one like turned into a sea hen and stuff. Oh, look, the baby ringtail finally found a plort. Why are you guys looking at me? Get out here. Get out, do your thing. Get out into the wilds. All right? One else coming up here, all right? Gotta be careful about this. Last time I launched you the wrong way. Ah! Ah! That was close. That was close. What's up, dude? I think they're following me around, so that's why I gotta be careful. Get him. Oh, yeah. Dude. I'm loving this. It's silly, but it's great. Okay, I'm gonna stand here. Just let them come to me. Maybe I should stand over here on the silo. Yeah, they definitely like walk towards me, so I'm gonna like fly around a little bit, but we're gonna let this happen, y'all. We're gonna let this happen. Oh, and it's been 54 minutes, so we're coming right towards the end of the stream. Any last things I want to talk about when it comes to game dev stuff? Well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you know, maybe we'll talk about this stuff probably more in the future. You know how it goes. I like to bring up some of these topics again and again. But love your game, right? You need to have an idea that you actually want to complete, because there's going to be times when you're going to get bored of it, and stuff's going to get hard, and you're going to have to try and solve a problem. Whee! Get to try and come up with some solution to a problem, and in the process, you know, you might get burnt out. And so you want to make sure that the thing that you're doing is incredibly self-gratifying so that when you have those moments, you can kind of get past them. Okay. Ooh, boy. Oh, man. Yesterday, I cleaned my coffee machine. We have a Nespresso, which is kind of like one of those pod things. You know, you use pods and it gives you coffee. Specifically, the Nespresso kind of creates a fluffier coffee, if that makes sense. It like injects bubbles into it, essentially. So just makes it a little bit like a smoother coffee. But it had been a while since I cleaned it. And so now that we did clean it, like I ran 3 cycles of water. I ran a cleaner through it, then ran 2 more cycles of water. Like this thing is spick and span. And I can tell it tastes so much better. You know, I was talking to Chrissy about it when we cleaned it, and it was like, oh yeah, I guess what we've been doing is like our coffee is passing through old coffee that's like caked onto the side of it on the inside. And so it's like old and stale and burned. So now that that's cleaned, some good coffee. What is the noise y'all are making? Or is that the sea hens going like honk? I think it's the sea hens. We've still barely put a dent into this. But look at all the plorts. There actually are way more plorts than I thought. I assumed that because they eat so often that there wouldn't be that many plorts, but maybe they will just keep producing plorts and then we're going to have a bonkers amount. All right, let's go this way. I have to keep like going over to where the most hens are and drawing them over this way, but I don't want to draw them too close to the edge, you know? Okay. Well, is there anything else I wanted to mention in regards to that? We talked about characters. We talked about story. We talked about setting that reinforces it. Gameplay loop needs to be good, all right? So gameplay loop. Yeah, we'll put it that way. Gameplay loop. So the gameplay loop needs to be satisfying, right? So with Slime Rancher, the gameplay loop is go out into the wilds, fill up your backpack with things that you desire. Out in the wilds, look for treasure and other special things. Return home and do things on the ranch, right? Do maintenance, create farms, do the stuff that's going to help you progress. Once you've reached a certain point with that, once you've cleared out your inventory, got all your money, built your new things, got your slimes in their pens, what do? You begin the loop again. That is the Slime Rancher game loop. You want a similar, like, self-reinforcing game loop. One where when people accomplish each part of the game loop, it hasn't taken too much time, so they're not tired of it. And the next part of the game loop is different enough that it kind of helps. It's sort of like a rest from that first part. You need to be able to kind of rest between portions of a game. Otherwise, it can get too exhausting. I think a good example of this is horror games like the Resident Evil games, where you have these huge, intense, horrific scenes, right? Things are coming at you. You know, you got to reload, you got to run, you got all this. It's intense, right? And then you have moments of calm. There's no baddies around. You're exploring through rooms. You're trying to complete puzzles. You're organizing your inventory, right? It's a much simpler, or it's a much more relaxed experience. It's still tense because you're always ready for something bad to come around the corner. That's the tone. The tone is tension. The gameplay loop is fight or flight, then search. Fight or flight, then search, right? So that is another good gameplay loop. So think about your gameplay loop because you need a loop. The gameplay cannot be one thing continuously or it's gonna be exhausting. Are there games that do that? Yes, and they get exhausting. Or they're a roguelite type game so that the gameplay loop is get as far as you can, make external progress. Get as far as you can, make external progress, right? Unlock new items, unlock new gear, unlock new characters, whatever. That's part of the gameplay loop, right? You're still playing one component of the game, but it has some other motivating factor for why you do that part of the game. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. Gameplay loop. Think about it. Consider it. So, what do we got? We got characters, we got tone, we got setting, we got gameplay. The only other thing I can think about that is making sure that everything reinforces itself in the design. You want everything to complement each other. Slime Rancher, everything is cute. Everything is wiggly. Everything bounces, right? You have these corrals and things, but what do they look like? Flippin' faces. This is a mouth, just like a slime. You do the same thing. It's so silly, but it's so self-reinforcing, right? It reminds you that everything in this game is supposed to be adorable. It's supposed to be inviting. It's supposed to make you feel happy and warm, you know? Like, those little details. This could have just been a little slot that you put things in, but they deliberately thought, you know what? It should look like a slime. It should have the eyes. It should have the mouth. Okay? See, look, this little at the top, that curve down from a mechanical standpoint, right, where the button is, makes sense. But also clearly, deliberately looks exactly like a slime mouth when it's open. One of y'all open your mouths. One of y'all open your mouths. Look at it. Did you see it? Did you see the slime mouth? Same shape. Same shape. So anyway, that kind of stuff. Right? Reinforce the concepts of the game. The more you can remind the player that they're in the world that they're in through different means, that's also going to help them connect. Okay, so that's my advice on games that I like. Obviously, I am not a game dev. Like I said, I've done it in passing in my free time, but I am by no means a game developer. I have not developed a game. I have played around in game development software. Yeah, I think that those sets of rules will help at least give you some guidance, right? Tone, setting, character, unified design, gameplay loop. I think that's what you need. Write that in an outline. Answer those questions with what you would like to do with it. I mean, they're not questions, but use those prompts to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to accomplish those goals. And I think that'll give you a good roadmap. I may be entirely wrong. Game devs that are watching, please sound off down below. Did the tips that I said, do they apply to what you do, right? Because they do apply to what I like in a game, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way, right? It's just what I've learned from the many, many, many games that I've played, that those concepts really work out. Another game that does that pretty well, I think, is my time at Sandrock and my time at Porsche. They've got pretty good gameplay loops. Stardew Valley has a pretty self-reinforcing gameplay loop. That one more, I think, comes down to the character and then the actions. You have to really be into that. But when you're in it, great examples of those things. So yeah, well, that was a fun conversation. Give me some more questions and prompts out there, y'all. Obviously, I'm willing to talk about psychology-related stuff, but I'm also willing to just talk about any kind of old nerdy stuff. But hey, with that, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes. Thank you all so much for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Slime Rancher. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below. It really, really helps. Secret comment of the day is orange bunnies. They aren't funny. They're no joke. But now I'm stoked. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Subscribe if you're not already. And maybe go watch another one of my videos. Maybe check out the playlist. There is a link up above in the cards. Watch all of these. Enjoy the podcast style nature that we do. Gosh, they get so orange in the transition between night and day. Wow. But yeah, go do all those things. That'd be wonderful. Show up again tomorrow. We will have another episode. Same time, same bat channel. And we'll be doing it every day. Come on by. Slime Rancher every day. All right, y'all. With that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, though, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I have been Price, and I will see y'all next time. These bunnies are funny, they ain't no joke. But I am stoked.